It's Tuesday, July 2nd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we highlight a great free service for boaters, a program for veterans who would like to heal on Sandy Neck, and we take a walk down Main Street to explore the new navigation kiosks. Now for a look at municipal and legislative notes. What is cyanobacteria, and is it impacting closures at your favorite ponds or lakes? Humans who drink or swim in water that contains high concentrations of cyanobacteria or cyanobacterial toxins may experience gastroenteritis, skin irritation, and allergic responses. And it can be especially harmful to dogs, harming their liver. To find out if your body of water is affected, choose public health from the town's website, then beach status, water quality. Additionally, you can bookmark the Association to Preserve Cape Cod's Cyanobacteria map at www.apcc.org/cyano, C-Y-A-N-O. This map catalogs all the closures across Cape Cod. In an effort to provide directions and historical fun facts, the Hyannis Business Improvement District has 7 specially designed informational kiosks on Main Street. A brief presentation and ribbon cutting held last year of the new signs was held in front of the JFK Museum. There's so much history all down Main Street of Hyannis. There's many things to see and do, restaurants, places to go, but never really any navigation. Now there is navigation along Main Street. With me, Mary Agresti, Elizabeth Werfbane, you guys have, along with the Rotary, created these beautiful information kiosks. Tell us a little bit about how this idea and the history of this happened.
Well, there had been an ongoing discussion about how we could tell the authentic story of Hyannis. That it was certainly a place to visit and buy souvenirs and eat, but there was a story that wasn't being told. We started out by telling the story of the sea captains through murals, etc., but Elizabeth and I had a lot of conversations and agreed that there was more. And at the same time, she was having a wonderful conversation with the Hyannis Rotary about how they also wanted to be a part of that meaningful story. And so we all came together and chose the word navigation. It links to the sea. And so we decided that we would create a series of informational kiosks. There's a lot of information on these. There's a new map, there's an events that's seasonal, and then there's what we call heritage panels, which were a great joy to create and are really interesting to me personally.
We were particularly interested as a Hyannis Main Street bid in linking up all parts of the street together and creating a cohesive identity. And I guess that's called placemaking or branding. Many different words nowadays, very trendy, but really celebrating the authentic style of what the downtown looks like. And, also all parts of the street, bringing it together, as well as linking it to the harbor front. So that was a piece that, seemed to work with exactly what, Mary Ann was talking about, and then the Rotary as well.
Also, town collaboration. So town property, obviously, these have to be placed. So, how does that process work?
Well, they were integrated into the design process. So like I'm an architect, so any building project we do, we have to work really closely with the property owner. First phase was to also make sure that the community was involved, because town property is community property, right? So as soon as the funding was approved and we knew we had that really tight, the first thing we did was hold a community meeting. So we could invite anyone who wanted to come. It was at the Transit Center. And they contributed their favorite stories for the heritage panels. They marked most important places that they wanted on the map, and events, etc. They even picked the color. We put out like 40 different blues that night and had someone put an X on the back of their favorite, and this one won by far. It had the most X's. So some people have asked why blue. Well, this blue was chosen by the community.
Excellent. And then let's talk about the community of Rotary. For these folks, they really did an enormous job in funding this. It's not cheap to get these really beautiful panels done. They're well made. So give us a little bit of information.
In fact, we have Rick Walters from the Hyannis Rotary.
Here he is.
Well, hello there.
We're on Channel 18.
Great.
Right, and I just wanted to understand the Rotary's role in creating these panels and why you think it's important.
Well, Rotary is, of course, committed to the community and serving, and we just felt this was a wonderful opportunity to invest in the downtown. our mission is really to enhance the community the best we can, and what a great way to show what Rotary can do in a community.
Right, and the funds for this obviously were a significant amount of your Good Works Fund?
Well, we had some money set aside for some special good works projects, and a number of people in town, Mary Ann certainly, and Elizabeth, and members of the Rotary Club, after investigating a lot of different opportunities to invest money in the community, decided this was perfect.
Excellent. Last question for you is, what does this do for residents and visitors? We just saw a couple stop. What does that do for everyone that's walking the street? What do these panels really represent for them?
Yeah, I think for me it's easy to see these pieces as quite utilitarian, right? They're very functional, but I have to say I find there to be a very meaningful component, particularly to the heritage side. First of all, the maps make everyone feel safer. They feel like they know exactly where they're going. We've incorporated radii at each point so people know how far it is to walk along Main Street, which had never been incorporated before. So there's that sort of, this is a safe, long space. But the heritage panels are amazing. While designing them, every day I would meet friends and say, did you know about Eugenia Fortes? She's amazing. She founded the NAACP, and she worked at the Artificial Pearl Factory, which in the early 1900s we were internationally famous for. Like, there are all these amazing stories about what makes us who we are. And these stories have never been brought to the main street. So here they are. And the other day a teacher said to me, you know what? We should bring the elementary school classes along the Heritage Trail and have them walk along and do sort of a scavenger hunt maybe. And it made me so thrilled to hear that, right? Because to know about developing this town for the future, our kids need to know about what happened, or else we're not going to make the right choices. And for me, there's a lot of meaning in these, and I hope that they succeed. I think they already have, if we're hearing that from teachers.
And Elizabeth, a question for you as well. On the visitor side of this, there's lots of businesses here on the main street, and having something that they can point out to say, well, if you just look for the information kiosk.
That's right. The information kiosk will help the businesses send people along, maybe back to the harbor or maybe over down to the east end or the west end. It really will be a great wayfinding device, as well as listing all the businesses on the with their addresses on the map. It really helps people find, I'm looking for this restaurant XYZ, I'm looking for the Zion Museum, the Melody Tent. It's all there. So it makes a walkable society, which actually is a healthier society. So this is, again, what Marianne says. This is all big picture, but even though it's microcosmic, it's small, but it's really, we're telling a big picture story about the future, what we want to see in the downtown. So it's visionary.
It's visionary. And navigation and navigating Main Street, very easy now. There's kiosks all the way. Take a walk, learn your heritage. Here's a great way to keep our water clean. Take advantage of the free pump-out service at our various harbors. Jared Smaller, Assistant Harbor Master, takes us on a cruise around Katuitt Bay to pump out a scheduled vessel. A gorgeous day on Katuitt Bay. We are jumping on board with Jared Smaller, Assistant Harbor Master, and we're going to go pump out a boat. This is a free program to boaters here in Barnstable. Jared's going to tell us a little bit about the program, and you're going to see it live.
Already tied up to the boat. We open always wear gloves and eye protection. Get the cap open. Eventually. And up forward in the compartment here we have our hose. This boat has a fully electric pump, as does the other one in Queens. Pump-out boats use a diaphragm-style pump that pumps essentially right from your boat into the holding tank. Flip this on with Camelot Brothers. Make sure it's closed so that we don't have anything happen initially. Turn it on. Then slowly sight glass that shows what's coming through. And right now there's actually not too much in this boat. So right now it's just cycling through what it's got there. So that's pretty much done. If the tank on this boat was full, it would probably take about 90 seconds to 2 minutes for it to pump it all the way out. Close the lever before we open anything else up so that we don't discharge anything elsewhere that we don't want it to be. Slowly take it off. Remove the fitting. Back in so we can flush some water through. Secure our hose. Pump down. That's essentially how the pump out goes. Nice and quick and clean. As you can see, there's nothing that leaks out. It's a completely sealed system. And the final step that we do is we leave a business card on board that does have all of the information for the pump out program. They have our phone number and the email address for the pump out program, so if you need service. And we put the date and the time and who pumped your boat. So when these people come back on board, they can see that their pump out was done and their boat's all set and the holding tank is ready for the weekend.
How important is it for the environment to do this on a regular basis and not get your tanks too full?
The tanks are they're a sealed tank, so unless you have a failure in the tank, there's not going to be any leakage for the most part. It's a good service because A, it's free and funded through state and federal grants, but it's also just our environment. I mean, the water is a huge resource here in the town of Barnstable in many ways, recreationally and commercially. Right over all through this area is a huge shellfishing area that the last thing we want to do is be pumping sewage into it. It leads to norovirus and all kinds of other things.
Right.
And it affects the ecosystem and what we are as a town and as a region.
Right. And I know that we're here at the Katuitt town dock, but where else is this service available?
This service is available townwide. We have a boat here that services primarily the 3 Bay area of Katuitt Bay, North Bay, and West Bay. And we also travel to Hyannis to offload. And then we will also stop in East Bay if we need to. We do have one regular customer over in East Bay. And then we also have another boat that's in Hyannis that services the Lewis Bay and Hyannisport area. And that boat can come over here. This is a busier area because it is larger for us.
Sure.
That boat can come over here if we had a really busy day that needs to supplement. And then we have 2 shoreside facilities in Hyannis, both at Bismore Park. And then we have another shoreside facility in Barnstable Harbor because there just isn't as many boats. There aren't as many boats that need pump outs over there.
Right.
So the shoreside facility works well for us.
Okay. And the actual ability for people to, call and email on a busy weekend, what's kind of the time frame for folks? Should they, kind of anticipate getting the pump out or?
Yes. It's always better if you can anticipate and plan ahead for it. That gives us the opportunity for any weather issues. Yesterday it was really windy that if we wanted to do this yesterday, I would have tried to reschedule because it was just too windy.
Right.
We definitely don't want to cause damage to a customer's boat, to our boats. We don't want to get anybody hurt. There's too many opportunities for bad things to happen if it's a really poor weather day. Wind and lightning are our biggest deterrents to being able to do this.
Okay.
But it also allows for staffing changes and other things that may come up that need to take a priority. So we would like a few days notice if possible, but when we're out here on the weekends, that's what we're out here to do. These boats, although they can respond to emergencies and they're fully equipped to handle any of that stuff, the primary purpose of these boats over and above anything else is pump out. Again, they're funded through grants, and as part of that, it's to be used for pump out. So these boats are out here to pump your boat.
Okay.
all the time.
And let's just take it to the conclusion. Once it lands in this boat in the holding tank, where does it go?
This boat will then go to Hyannis.
Okay.
We'll take it by water,
Okay.
and we'll use one of the 2 stations over there. And then from there, there are 2 pumps over there. They're called peristaltic pumps. They just operate on a different style, a little bit heavier duty, because they have a lot further to draw everything from, between emptying a 450-gallon holding tank on this boat into the town sewer system. So it goes right into a pumping station that's there at Bismore Park and ends up right in the town sewer system.
Excellent.
And our north side station as well pumps right from this tank there into the town sewer system as well. So everything is treated properly. It ends up just where it would if you were flushing the toilet at your home.
And where it should go.
Exactly.
Exactly. Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Nicholas G. Azaros Memorial Foundation Fund, the Vet Center, and Sandy Neck build a partnership for veterans and Gold Star families. Sandy Neck, a place to heal.
Steve Exaros, Deputy Chief, has been a beachgoer for a long time. And we noticed, we knew all about his son Nick, but he's always out on the beach, and this is his place where he comes to relax with his family. And there was another veteran that had come in last year and asked me about, could we do something special for the vets? And what they wanted to do was have a little place out on the beach, little area. And I said, absolutely. So every Saturday night they put out a couple flags, and they started to do that, and they started to show up. Steve and I had talked for several years about, I wanted to do something to honor the veterans. This is my favorite place in the world, is right here, Sandy Neck. And what a healing place it is.
Well, I can say that it was kind of born from a veteran, where I think most great ideas are, frankly. A veteran came to us a few years ago and said, I really want a place to be with other vets, to have community, to relax and just enjoy our life, and let's go to the beach and let's go to Sandy Neck. And it wasn't formalized at that point. And then I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, and that veteran is a friend, and I would see him on the beach, coincidentally, and he asked me, do you think we could do something for veterans on Sandy Neck? And I said, yes, if you can help me. So it started with him working with Donna and having sections of the beach reserved for veterans to park, because it's so busy sometimes in the summer, way out on the beach. It's nice to have a place to park. So we put up signs, veterans parking, and we started kind of with that. And then the thought was, let's give them the permit to go out there and the equipment. And initially, in our mind, it was to thank a vet. We can't bring Nick back or all the others that have fallen, but we can remember them and use them in a way to help thank others and support others. But it was Dara Gannon, of the Cape Cod Foundation, Sean Gannon's wife, who said, Steve, this is beautiful, but let's take it a step further and let's tie it into a program. And I guess because, obviously we knew Dara and the Gannons and the Cape Cod Foundation, we knew Donna at the beach, and we knew Dr. Howard. We were able to put them all together. It's not easy to do, to get the federal government, the local government, the Sandy Neck Board, the Cape Cod Foundation, and the Exaros Family Fund all together, and we did it. And that was the right thing to do. And our goal is for it to become one of our signature things that our family does. We kind of do a lot of little things to try to help as many people as we can, but we feel like this is going to be one of the most important. And this year we have enough funding for 20. Next year we want to make it 50, and give our veterans a place to heal.
So of course I wrote this letter stating, why they should be out here, the sand and the companionship and the family, and that we have hiking, we have kayaking, we have camping, the different aspects of Sandy Neck that are so healing. So that letter, unbeknownst to me, went further than I thought it was going to. And then it was a couple days later, Steve sent me an email, said, touchdown, you did it. So, and I said to him, no, we did it. So it's just this is a really, like I said, a passion. This is a passion for me to get these guys together and these women and Gold Star's families. And I was really, that was the thing that I added. And I said, I really want the Gold Star family, because who is more of a veteran than families have lost a loved one into any of the combat?
Being in nature, part of it is when we do motorcycling, you know, being outside, being in the wind. We found that therapeutic. Also being with others. Then the beach kind of has that a little bit too, where you have nature, the wind, the ocean. We bring our dog, you know, and it's always leashed, of course. And so you're out in this beautiful place, and you realize how lucky you are to be alive. And you realize the price of freedom, you know, and try to balance that. Because my life is kind of bittersweet. There's days when I'm very proud. There's days when I'm very sad, you know. So we balance it. I call it bittersweet. And a few years ago, I felt better about what had happened. Someone gave me good advice, because I kept saying, why? Why? You know, why Nick, out of thousands? And a man said, you don't know why? I said, no, I don't know why. He said, God saw Nick doing good things and needed to take him to do great things. And at that moment, I accepted it. And it was right around this time where I had accepted it as a dad, and as a family, we've healed better. And at the same time, we're on Sandy Neck, and we said, let's put this together and let others experience the beauty of Barnstable and Sandy Neck and the ocean and animals and the sand. And whether you want to be together as veterans, Gold Star family, or you just want to be alone and take a walk on that beautiful place. It's incredible when you're out there, and that's kind of how we thought it would work.
I think nature, in part, is freedom. It's freedom to let down your guard. It's freedom to just be one with your environment. And we'll do therapies where maybe veterans have to write about their traumas, or have to speak about their traumas, or just do some healing work by feeling their emotions rather than avoiding them. And that's a very difficult thing to do with others because it's a very personal process. So going out to a place that's surrounded by beauty, where you can be alone when you want to be alone, and just share and pour that emotion and those experiences into the world and get it off of yourself, I think can be very healing for people.
These are called challenge coins, so veterans and military people or law enforcement kind of have your own special coin, and it means a lot. So I'm on the board of directors of Mass Fallen Heroes in Boston, which is a bunch of veterans, police officers, firefighters, and we built this foundation. So I mentioned this idea to them, and they said, oh my God, we love it. So they gave us the 20 special coins, which we now give to Dr. Howard. And when the people here feel like this veteran is the right type that would love something like Sandy Neck, this is kind of the pass. So they give them the coin, they bring the coin to the booth at Sandy Neck. They all know kind of what it means. And that way you don't have to share names in a way, or it's just this person has this coin and they know what to do. And almost another way to remember, you know, the price of our freedom. These are all Massachusetts fallen heroes, and I know they would want to help those that made it home. My chief, Frank Frederickson, tells the story of now years later, Nick is a Marine, and the chief took Nick hunting on Sandy Neck. And he, even though I didn't see it, but I can see it in my mind, the chief said his last vision of Nick is him hunting and standing on the dune holding the firearm like a Marine. And so in a way, from childhood to Marine, Sandy Neck has been part of his life and many others. And we want to pass that on and help our veterans feel our love, because Americans love our veterans, and feel like they have a place to heal. And that's how it came together.
And that's the big thing for this, what a perfect place to be, to go out and just, shake their hand and thank them and say thank you for your service.
We're proud to be with the VA, we're very proud to be with the VA and the town of Barnstable and Sandy Neck, and it helps us heal too.
Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. Free Fun Friday at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum. That's right, on Friday, July 5th, admission to the Cape Cod Maritime Museum on South Street in Hyannis is free. In partnership with the Highline Street Foundation, the Cape Cod Maritime Museum is taking part in the Foundation's Free Fun Fridays initiative, in which 100 institutions across Massachusetts will offer free admission. Museum personnel will be on hand with activities for kids, including a scavenger hunt and an outdoor games. The museum will be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Comments, suggestions, accolades, connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works. For you, I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.